How do you teach young children about the Indigenous culture? They might ask you, who are Native people? Am I Native? It's never too early to gently start teaching your children about important and complicated topics. If you're ready to start teaching your children about your own culture or other cultures outside your own, we'd like to help. Keep watching to find out how to teach your kids about Indigenous culture. Children are capable of understanding so much more than we often give them credit for, and teaching them about important issues at a young age can set them up for success as they grow. Hi there, my name is Mallory, and welcome back to the Tribal Trade channel. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for new videos every single week about smudging the Indigenous culture and Native teachings. Spreading Indigenous culture and fostering awareness starts with our youth. That's why it's so important to start talking to your children at an early age about the Indigenous culture, teachings, and other important topics. Often we like to try to shelter our kids from big issues until they're older. But young children are open, understanding, and compassionate in ways we can barely imagine. If you're worried it's too soon to start teaching your children about Indigenous culture, this is the moment to set that worry aside. They're capable of handling it, and we're here to help you navigate these lessons with them. Here at Tribal Trade Co., we've helped thousands of people learn about Indigenous culture, connect with their culture, and embrace Indigenous teachings. That's why we would love to be a part of helping you introduce these same teachings to your children in a way that's right for you. If you're ready to start teaching your children about Indigenous culture, but you're not sure where to start, this video is for you. In the next few minutes, we'll walk you through 5 simple steps that you can take to start talking about these topics with your children and teach them in a way that is simple, accessible, and even fun. We'll also include some links to resources you might find helpful along the way. The first step in teaching children about the Indigenous culture is to start small. Books, TV shows, and other activities. Start teaching your children about Indigenous culture with toys and activities they are already enjoying. You can read them picture books that incorporate Indigenous culture or guide them towards some TV shows that offer insight into the Indigenous culture. There are plenty of fun, kid-friendly ways to start introducing your children to these topics. You might also try simple and engaging activities like crafts and videos. Try finding activities online that you think would be best suiting for your children and their interests. If you'd like to learn more about the Indigenous culture and teachings, join our free community on Facebook. I'll link it in the description and in the comments below. The second step in teaching children about the Indigenous culture is finding resources. Finding resources for education and sharing. Just like crafts, activities, and videos, there are tons of resources online geared toward teaching children about Indigenous culture. Finding these resources will not only help you learn, but give you a way to share what you find with your children. We'll include links to some great resources in the video description and in the comment below. If you're a teacher, incorporating Indigenous culture into the classroom is one of the best ways we could start teaching children about these topics at a young age. The sooner children begin to learn about the Indigenous culture, the sooner it becomes a part of their normal, everyday life. And one day, they'll teach their children about it too. What kind of questions do your children ask about other cultures or other grown-up topics? Let us know in the comments below. So once you've taken the first step of engaging in some activities with your children and finding the right resources, you can start to build on what you have learned with them. This includes branching into some deeper topics and learning how to incorporate what you've learned into your children's daily lives. The third step to take when teaching your children about Indigenous culture is introducing Indigenous teachings. Introducing Indigenous teachings to your children. There are plenty of Indigenous teachings that are so applicable to children. One that immediately comes to mind is the 7 grandfather teachings. Wisdom, love, respect, bravery, honesty, humility, and truth. Regardless of culture, These are wonderful, powerful values to teach our children. Teaching them how these values relate to Indigenous culture is simply about explaining their origins, their history, and their significance so that they can have an even greater understanding of these concepts. Additionally, teachings like the medicine wheel help us understand the cycle of life, nature, and the human experience. Overall, these teachings help us learn and understand more about topics we encounter every day. You are simply framing them for your children in a way that also includes Indigenous culture. For more in-depth information about these teachings, check out some of our other videos which explore these teachings further. The fourth step in teaching children about the Indigenous culture is simple: go explore. Helping your children experience Indigenous culture. You can also help your children learn about the Indigenous culture by taking them out to experience museums, historical sites, pictographs, and other educational places. This will help them see, experience, and reinforce the concepts they've learned through the ideas and activities you have used to teach them. This is a great way to teach while also having fun and being together as a family. The fifth and final step in teaching children about the Indigenous culture is to try to take everything you've taught your children and help them use it every day. Incorporating Indigenous culture into everyday life. You know what's best for your children, so do any combination of activities and lessons that's right for you. No matter what you choose, try to incorporate Indigenous culture and teachings into your children's everyday lives. Remind them of what they have learned. Make connections when you can and choose activities for them that continuously expose them to the culture. You can also give your children the opportunity to choose how they would like to participate. Ask them what activities they enjoyed the most, what teachings meant the most to them, or what other questions they have. Incorporating Indigenous culture into their lives doesn't have to be like being in school. You can incorporate it in small ways like practicing daily gratitude, reading a new book every week, or creating art. These experiences will enrich your children's lives in meaningful ways and teach them about a beautiful and special culture. For more resources that can help you and your children learn about the Indigenous culture, check out the links in the description below. Subscribe to our channel for even more videos like this one, or join our Facebook page for an inclusive, welcoming community of other people looking to learn about and engage with the Indigenous culture. I hope this video helps you start to teach your children about the Indigenous culture, but more importantly, I hope you all have fun learning, exploring, and wondering about new ideas together. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.